Today I'm going to be making almond milk. Almond milk is one of the basic ingredients that you're going to need in order to stay primal or paleo. Without almond milk, you're always going to be tempted to go to the fridge and get the regular milk out. If there is almond milk in your fridge, then you'll be like, oh, I better not, and you'll always go for the almond milk. Almond milk along with coconut milk is probably the two basic things that I use to replace milk and dairy in my own diet. I find it really difficult to stick to this, and that's probably one of the reasons why most of the time I just consider myself primal instead of paleo, is because I keep going back to the dairy every time. But definitely the times that I have almond milk or coconut milk on hand are the times where I am infringing on paleo diet the least. So let's get started. Okay, so this is my blender. It's a pretty good blender. I got it about 3 months ago. And before that I was just using a stick wand type blender, and the difference is insane. Like, I can make smoothies that are just completely smooth, whereas before there would always be a few like chunks of frozen ice, and this is actually works out easier to clean as well than a stick blender does, because I found with the stick blender that it would make things fly all over the place, and also I would have to have like a special cup in order for to use it, and that just kind of made a lot of mess for some reason. But anyway, with this guy I just fill it with soap and water and turn it on and it cleans itself. So I definitely recommend investing in one of these if you don't already have a blender. So for almond meal I like to use regular raw almonds. A lot of people soak them overnight, one handful. But I don't generally bother. I will sometimes if I know the next day I'm going to need a whole big batch, but otherwise I don't let it get in the way of making it. Otherwise I will just go straight to the dairy. So you can also use almond meal. This is my trusty, I've been using this container for almond meal for years, but anyway, people who say that you can't make almond milk out of almond meal are kidding themselves. You do not need fresh almonds. If you don't have access to them or you can't afford them, almond meal will work just as well. I also tend to add macadamia nuts. Macadamia nuts are high in omega-3s, whereas almonds are high in omega-6s, and it's important to kind of keep a balance between the two types of omega fats. Omega-3 is better for you, obviously. I also find that because macadamia is gorgeous, because macadamia nuts are really oily, I guess, the milk just comes out like richer and creamier. Anyway, so we add that in. And I also, my secret ingredient is dates bread. This is just made from dates. In the ingredients it says dates, comma, water, full stop, that's it. Do not buy dates bread if it has preservatives and stuff in it. It doesn't need it. It'll last in the fridge for ages. And I just find this gives a bit of a sweetness, to the almond milk that otherwise it is missing quite severely. Alright, so that's everything. That's all of our dry ingredients. I'll just show you how much I've got in there. There isn't loads. That's enough for me for like 2 days though, and that's all I'm going to be making. Obviously if you're using it as a primary ingredient for smoothies and that kind of thing, you're going to make more, but this is enough for now. So next I add water. I think I just closed it. Just enough sort of to cover everything, and about that much. Maybe a bit more. Depends on how thick you want it. Again, if it's not thick enough when you've once you have finished, just add more nuts in. If it's too thick once you finish, just add more water in. Really easy. It's one of those personal preference things, how thick you like your milk, I guess. The other great thing about the macadamia nuts is that they kind of make it taste a bit more like full cream milk, and I feel like if you just have the almonds, it feels a bit like skim milk. I don't like skim milk. Alright, so I'll just switch this on to blend, and once it's all blended up, I'll be back. All done. Now I have a nut milk bag, looks like this, that I bought a few months ago, and before that I was just using an old stocking, which probably isn't the best idea, but this is definitely better. So what you do is you get your bowl and put your nut bag inside like that. when your almond milk is finished, it should sort of look pretty liquidy, pretty mixed, just thoroughly mixed in really is my main advice of what to look for. But again, as you get used to making it, you will figure out what you want personally. This is just obviously the way I like to do it. There we go. And then all you have to do is lift up the bag and the almond milk will drain right out the bottom of it. You will get your hands dirty in this part, so make sure you've washed your hands. And just kind of squeeze the milk bag in a largely provocative manner until all of the liquid has drained out, because there's no point wasting it. Now obviously the leftover stuff inside the bag is just slightly sweetened almond meal, and you can use it in baking or in cooking. I always just stick it in the fridge and it'll last, I've seen it last over a week before. But obviously when it starts to taste a little bit sour or it's getting some gross stuff growing on it, that's when you know it's finished past its use by date. But yeah, you can obviously put this back in a dehydrator and turn it back into completely almond meal again, but I don't bother. I just use it. I just use it in baking. If I have it on hand, which I usually do, it means that there's definitely more sensible indulgences happening in my kitchen. Okay, I think I've run out now. It's starting to feel a bit like the texture of like wet sand, and once it gets to that point and you're squeezing pretty hard and nothing is happening, then you know that you've pretty much finished. And that's it. Easy peasy almond milk with only a moderate amount of mess.